virtual machine at this particular time, we are going to store that in the form of a file. Okay, so that is a snapshot. Snapshot stores the present state information of the virtual machine in the form of files, and those files get stored in the same folder which contains all the files associated with virtual machine. Usually there are three files which are created: dot vmsd, dot vmsn, and hyphen delta dot vmdk. These are the three files associated with the snapshot. And
there is no video. There is no video.
Video? What did you say?
We can't see your screen.
No video. I can't say anything.
You say you're unable to see the screen you're talking about, right?
Yes, screen.
Okay, I haven't started the the presentation yet. Okay, fine.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, don't get confused. So you're able to see this. You're able to see my desktop right now.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So let us. Okay, snapshot, guys. Snapshot can be created directly connected to an ESXi host using vSphere client. However, like clones and templates are not possible when you're connected directly to an ESXi host using vSphere client. You have to use vCenter server for that.
Mujib, what did you mention about snapshots? It can't be directly taken from where, sorry?
No, a snapshot can be taken when you are connected directly to an ESXi host using vSphere clients. Okay.
Yeah.
However, cloning and templates are not possible when you are directly connected to an ESXi host using vSphere client. That has to be performed through vCenter server only.
Another question is, what are the timings of lab? If I want to connect to your machine, what time do I connect?
Well, my machines are on from 2 p.m. onwards, Indian Standard Time, till 5, and again from 6:30 till 9:30 in the evening. And,
no morning time.
What was the timing? What Srinivas has given to you guys? Did you have a word with Srinivas regarding this? Srinivas ji?
I think he has given the same timings, I suppose. I'm not sure if he's given any morning timings or not.
Just have a word with Srinivas regarding that. Okay.
Any other times are not possible?
Morning Indian Standard Time, yes, the servers are on maybe from 7:30 onwards. Morning 7:30 till 11.
Vijay, one quick question, man.
Yes.
Actually, PowerEdge 2650 is supported by this one, all the applications. Dell
Could you repeat your
PowerEdge,
question?
PowerEdge 2650, Dell.
Uh-huh.
It's a quad-core processors too and 32 GB RAM.
Yeah, it's supported. Yeah.
All the applications like whatever vCenter and everything.
Yes, absolutely. You can just install ESXi on top of it, then create virtual machines on top of it, and you can practice, not an issue. It is supported.
Okay. The free software is 60 days. Free software is not binded with Nick, right? I can install as
No,
many as
no. Yes, yes, yes.
because if it's that sure means I'll go and buy, but that I'm looking like online, it's getting like $800. So I'm planning
Okay.
to get. If it is not binded, then I'll go and get it.
It is not binded usually. Okay, you can install. The evaluation will work. Fine. Not an issue.
The trial version will support all the things, everything.
Yes, yes. You have to download the Enterprise
Yeah,
or the Enterprise Plus
but
version.
it will support all the applications and everything, all
Yes,
the features.
yes.
Thank you.
Let this services get started. Okay, fine. Let us see how to create a snapshot. Fine. Guys, if you want to create a snapshot on a virtual machine, just right click, and here you find the option to say snapshot, and here you can click on take a snapshot. But before that, let me show you this virtual machine ESXi-Tarak1 is on my shared storage. Let us browse the data store to locate that virtual machine. Here is the virtual machine. Tarak1. Yeah. Now this is the folder. This is the folder of that virtual machine. If I click on the folder, you can see all the files associated with virtual machine here. Okay. And here you're unable to see any file that says snapshot. Okay. Now let me create a snapshot here, and in a moment you can see that the snapshot file will get created. Okay. And now let us see that. Take a snapshot. Now guys, why do we take snapshots? Now snapshots work as a temporary backup solution or an emergency backup solution. For example, you are applying a patch on your guest operating system, whether it is Windows or Linux, or you're trying to applying a patch on your application, or an upgrade or an update of an application. Maybe it is an Exchange server or a database application you're running on top of your virtual machine, and you don't know after the installation of this patch on the operating system or the application how this application or your operating system is going to behave. If everything is going to be fine or there might be some problems. So we don't know what is going to happen. Suppose everything goes fine, that's perfectly okay. But sometimes your application may give some troubles because of the new patch or upgrade, or your operating system may give some trouble because of the particular new patch which has been applied on it. So at that particular stage, you need not worry. Why? Because you have created a snapshot prior to the applying of this patch. A snapshot will store all the present state information of the virtual machine in the form of a file. And if something goes wrong, you have the ability to revert your virtual machine to the snapshot, and you're back up and running with the settings which have been stored in the snapshot. So here, when you create a snapshot, it will ask you to give a name to that snapshot. You can give a name based on uh, what type of patch you're applying, or you can say that it's prior to the snapshot, prior to the patch, or there might be a patch number which you're applying. Let us say that it is 12456 or 12356, and you can also write in the description the date and time. So let us say this is 25 4th 2014, and you can also mention the time right now is 4:30 p.m. Okay, so I've given the name and the description so that I identify that this is the snapshot which has been taken prior to the application of this patch number and the date and time. I'll click on OK. So now a snapshot file will be created on the virtual machine. And where is the snapshot file getting stored? In the same folder of this virtual machine. Okay. So if I refresh this, if you see this, you can see a new file. Prior to it, you are unable to see it, but now you can see this file. It is the snapshot file dot vmsn, and a new or .vmdk file has been created. This is -delta.vmdk. Fine. So here another file .vmsd. So these are the three files associated with your snapshot. .vmsd, .vmsn, and -delta.vmdk. So
Tarek. Sorry, Mujib.
yep.
Uh, how does it work in terms of storage? When you take a snapshot, what are the things you have to keep in mind in terms of storage? How much space you need to have, take the snapshot, and all those sort of things.
On the data store, you mean to say?
Yeah.
See, guys, usually snapshots are not a permanent backup solution. First, keep that in mind. Okay, and snapshots are always snapshots work always as a temporary backup solution. Fine. So in the data store, you'll always have a watch on your data store, how your data store space is being filled, so on and so forth. All right. So once the job of the snapshot is done, what VMware says is that delete the snapshots. After that, we should not run virtual machines associated with snapshots for a longer period of time. Why? Because it will affect the virtual machine's performance basically. So whatever the space available on your data store, that would be occupied or that would be used till that particular snapshot file is available. Once you delete the snapshot, that space is freed up. So VMware's recommendation, we should not run virtual machines associated with snapshots for a longer period of time if that virtual machine is in production environment, or because it will affect the performance of the virtual machine. So
okay, and
you see this.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was going to say, to start with, how much space do you need to have on your data store to take a snapshot?
See, it depends on the virtual machine. It is not fixed to a specific virtual machine, okay? It depends on the virtual machine size, what you have. Now the snapshot file will differ from virtual machine to virtual machine. There is no fixed size. Okay, why? Because it is capturing the present state information of that virtual machine. So if you see this here, my .vmdk, if you keenly observe here, this is my this is my actual virtual hard disk size. Okay, the provision size is this much, and if you see this snapshot file -delta.vmdk, its provision size is also the same. But the actual size here, if you see this, it is in some. If you see this, it's like 3,23,584 KB. If you see the snapshot data file, it is less than that, like 50,176 KB. So here it depends on virtual machine size. It differs from virtual machine to virtual machine. So how much space should be there on the data store? It depends on the virtual machine. Okay. So you should make sure that you have enough space on your data store, at least at 20 to 30% free space available always. If it is more than that, then obviously it is an indication that you're running out of space on your data store, and very soon you may come across problems. So that's the reason why on vCenter there are alarms which will give you an alarm if your data store size has been reached up to 80%. Right. So the snapshot size differs from virtual machine to virtual machine, and for 80% of the data being filled, you'll get an alarm. So it's an indication that 80% of the space has been utilized. So make sure that you have some other arrangements, like either adding space to your data store or migrate certain virtual machines to some other data store where you have enough space. Okay. Now, a snapshot has been created, and you have seen this. All these files are stored in the same folder within that virtual machine. Okay. Now, let us say something goes wrong to your virtual machine after the creation of this snapshot. Then need not worry. All you can do is that just go to that virtual machine and right click on the virtual machine, go to the snapshot option, then go to snapshot manager. And here you might have multiple snapshots available on that virtual machine. To whatever the location or to whatever the state you want to go, you can just click on that particular snapshot, and beneath that you find the option that says go to, and then immediately that virtual machine will be reverted back to that particular state, and the present state information will be lost. So if you want to save the present state information as well, then again you have to create a snapshot, and after that you have to revert back to the older snapshot location. Suppose if I click on go to here, guys, here it's giving me a message saying that the current state of the virtual machine will be lost until it has been saved in a snapshot. Now, if you want to revert to the snapshot prior to patch 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, which has been taken at this particular date and time, you say yes, then this virtual machine would be reverted back to that particular state, and whatever the changes which have been occurred after that would be lost unless and until you have saved that again in a snapshot. So if you think that the present state information maybe you will require it, so better to take a snapshot and save it, and after that then revert. If you think that it is not required, then you can easily just go and say yes, then immediately that virtual machine would be reverted to that snapshot state, and you're up and running. Fine. Now, however, when you revert back to that particular snapshot, the snapshot will not get deleted. It will be there in the snapshots, okay, in the same folder. If you want to delete a snapshot, you have to click on the particular snapshot and then delete it. VMware says maximum 40 days is the time where you can run a virtual machine associated with snapshot, and after that most probably you will come across issues with snapshots. I'll discuss what kind of issues will come. 40 days.
I heard it's from the maximum you can keep it is from 24 hours to 48 hours.
No, it's not like that. You can run a virtual machine with a snapshot up to 40 days, okay, and after 40 days definitely will come across issues. So at max, that is the maximum time. 40 days is the maximum time, okay. Now the snapshot is not going to get deleted unless and until you delete it. Okay, if you want to delete the snapshot, you need to select that snapshot and click on delete. Excuse me. Say yes, then the snapshot will get deleted. And once the snapshot gets deleted, all the files associated with that snapshot will be deleted from the folder.
Sorry, Mujib.
Fine? Yes.
I think someone's saying hello in the middle. I don't know. Someone wants to.
I'm unable to hear the voice. Hello.
Sorry, I'm able to hear it. I don't know if other people are able to hear it. I think it's Rupesh. I think he's not able to hear you. He's saying he's Rupesh.
Rupesh. Is that Rupesh?
He keeps saying hello, but I think he is not able to hear you.
I'm unable to hear Rupesh's voice. Rupesh says he's able to hear. Okay, fine. Can you be on mute, Rupesh, unless and until it is required for you to speak? Fine. Yes. Yes, Rupesh. You have a question? Please do raise. Yes, Rupesh, you have a question?
He is done.
Yes. Any question? Fine, guys.
Asking, yeah, Mujib, he is asking, can we move this snapshot to another location? That is his question, I think.
No. You can't. You can't, guys. Why? Because the snapshot is being stored within the folder of that particular virtual machine. So again, keep this in mind. Snapshot are virtual machine specific. You cannot use the snapshot with other virtual machines. Okay. So you not take it out of that particular virtual machine. Why? Because it is related to the virtual machine and it is getting stored within the same folder of the virtual machine. And why I told you that it is a temporary backup solution, because if I just go and right click and delete this virtual machine from the disk, then snapshot is also gone with the virtual machine. Why? Because it is stored in the same folder. Okay, it is not a permanent backup solution. It's a temporary backup solution. Why it is a temporary backup solution? Why? Because the snapshot is getting stored within the same folder. It is not external to the virtual machine. It is internal to the virtual machine. Okay, so that's the reason why it's a temporary backup solution. Fine. So now let us try to understand what is a clone and a template. And guys, cloning and template operations are possible only through vCenter. I cannot create a clone if I'm connected to an ESXi host directly. I cannot create a template of a virtual machine if I'm connected to an ESXi host directly. In order to perform these two tasks, I should be connected through vCenter server. Okay. Now let me get connected to my vCenter server. We'll try to understand what is a snapshot, or what is a clone and a template here. Guys, first I'll discuss a clone, then I'll discuss a template. Clone is an exact copy of a virtual machine. Clone is an exact copy of a virtual machine. When I say exact copy of a virtual machine, that means clone is also a virtual machine, and that virtual machine is an exact copy of another virtual machine. When I say exact copy, that means the clone machine will have the same configuration, will have the same operating system if it is available on it, and will have the same application if it is available, and will have the same data whatever is there on that particular virtual machine. So it's an exact copy of a virtual machine. There is no difference in it when it comes to the terms of configuration, the operating system, the application, and data. It is absolutely the same, exactly identical virtual machine. So clone is a copy of a virtual machine. That means clone is a virtual machine, okay, and it is similar to the virtual machine of which you have created a clone. Now here, why there is a requirement for you to create a clone? Guys, in your infrastructure, maybe you require another machine with the same operating system and the same application running. So if you want to do the same task manually, it will take time. Why? Because first you have to create a virtual machine, then install an operating system, then install the application, and this particular task may consume 40 minutes or 45 minutes or 1 hour, whatever it may be, or half an hour. So if you come across these kind of issues or these kind of requirements, so this particular option of clone comes handy. You can just create a clone of a virtual machine, and within 15 minutes or 20 minutes you're up and running with the configuration, with the operating system, with the application, and whatever the data. However, the clone is an exact copy. That means it will have the same identities of the original virtual machine. That means the operating system host name would be the same, the IP would be the same, the security identifier would be the same. So if you have same copies running, same virtual machines running with the same identities, it will create a problem in your infrastructure because you cannot have two machines with the same IP, with the same host name, and with the same SID. So what you have to do, you have to give a new identity to the guest operating system. That means a new host name, new IP, and a new SID. All these things, you can do it manually after the creation of clone. However, during the cloning operation, I have an option which says I can use a guest customization wizard. Using this guest customization wizard, I'll be able to customize the guest operating system uniqueness. I can give a new host name, the new IP, the new SID, okay, and this clone virtual machine will get new identity. However, the data is the same, the configuration is the same, the operating system is the same. However, data is the same, but it is a new machine, but because it has a new host name, new IP, and a new SID. So I can use guest customization wizard during that cloning operation, and I can create a new clone machine with a new identity. So that is what a clone is. So let us see how to create a clone. I'm connected to my vCenter server, and let me select a virtual machine.
Ajay, what are the situations when you take a clone?
Suppose in your infrastructure you require an identical machine based on, let us say you are running one particular application, okay, and you require another machine with the same application, similar kind of machine, okay. So you can do that same task manually, create a virtual machine, install an operating system, and install an application. Rather than doing that, you can just create a clone of it, and give the new identity to that operating system preferences, and you're up and running. So that's how we use clones. Fine. So let me check out what's happening with this. Okay, fine. Let us say I want to create a virtual machine. I want to create a clone of this VC Zoom. Okay, so just right click on the virtual machine. I have an option which says clone. Once I click on clone, clone is an exact copy of the virtual machine. So I need to give a name to the new virtual machine which I'm creating. So I'll say that this is VC Zoom clone. In real time, we do not use this naming convention, guys. VC Zoom clone. No, maybe I'm creating a clone for certain purpose. Maybe another machine with the same settings and with the same data, and that previous machine would be having some sort of naming convention, like it may be a production server, like server one, okay, or production server one, production server two, or some sort of naming convention. And the second machine, you need to follow the same naming convention. We don't use the names like clone, so on and so forth, if it is production environment. Here, I'm giving this name clone so that I can identify that this is a clone machine which has been created out of VC Zoom. Fine. You know, to select the inventory location, the data center. Then you can select on which host you want to place this new clone virtual machine. Click on next, and it is going to ask you the data store where you want to place this clone virtual machine. Say it is on UFS 3. Now here is the guest customization wizard. I can select guest customization wizard in order to give the new identity to the guest operating system. Click on next, and here I need to give the information. Okay, so I'll say that this is XYZ, the name of the company is C, all this information. Now I need to give a host name, computer name, and you can give a name based on your requirement, or if you want to use the same name as the virtual machine, you can select this. If you select this, use the virtual machine name, then it is going to use the same name of the virtual machine. If it requires a license, you need to enter the license key here. Administrator password. You need to give a time zone. If you keenly observe this, what are these questions, guys? I'm filling all these answers, right? When do you get these questions? You get these questions when you install an operating system normally. Okay? And someone from Windows background will understand this. This is similar to an answer file in Windows. In Windows, there is something called answer file, which is used in unattended installations. So we use this answer file, and during the installation will continue with all this information. Okay, it is similar to an answer file. Typical settings will take an IP from a DHCP server. To go with custom settings, you can customize it and give a new IP to it, maybe a static IP. You want this machine to be a member of a work group or Windows domain. I can also mention the domain name here itself. The username and password of the domain administrator. Generate a new security identifier. You want to use this customization specification for later use, you can save this. If not, you can just uncheck it. This is the entire summary. The new identity which should be given to the operating system here. Name, the organization name, the computer name would be based on the virtual machine name, license mode, the password, okay, the time zone, the IP which you have configured, and it should be a member of the domain, and the new SID, so on and so forth. Click on finish. Okay, click on finish. So now you can see this right now. Guys, if you keenly observe here, what is happening in cloning operation first, it is creating a snapshot of this virtual machine PC Zoom. Then using this snapshot, it will create a clone. Okay. However, this snapshot which is getting created automatically in the background of cloning process will automatically get deleted once the cloning operation is completed. Okay. Whereas if you create a snapshot manually by right clicking on a virtual machine and create a snapshot, the snapshot file is stored permanently, and unless and until you delete it, it would be there in the same folder of the virtual machine. But this operation, cloning operation, involves snapshot, but the snapshot is created in the background and it will stay until the cloning operation completes, and in the background the snapshot gets deleted automatically. Fine. So this is how we create a clone, and this is how we customize the guest operating system. And here the customization is possible with Windows and Linux operating systems. Okay. And guys, for customization, you need to have VMware tools installed. Okay. And that is the requirement for customization of the guest operating system. So this is how we create a clone. Now let us see how to create a template. Guys, I can create a template here by right clicking on a virtual machine. Now template operation is also done only through vCenter server. I cannot perform this directly connected to any ESXi host. But what is a template? We'll try to understand that. Guys, template is a master image copy of a virtual machine. So that means template is not a virtual machine, but it is an image. It is a master image of a virtual machine. That means template will contain all the virtual machine folder will contain. That means it contains each and everything. It will capture all the information, the configuration information, the files associated with it, each and everything, and it will store that in the form of an image or a file. And later on, I can use that file and deploy multiple virtual machines using the same file. Now, template is a master image copy. It contains the guest operating system, the application, and the virtual machine configuration information. Now, when you have to use a template, guys, normally in our infrastructures, we create a template for each and every operating system. For example, I create a template and store it. Maybe Server 2003 template, Server 2008 template, Server 2012 template, RHEL5, RHEL6. There will be multiple, Linux operating systems which we use in our infrastructure. For every operating system, we create a template and we store it. Maybe for XP, we have a template. For Windows 7, we have a template. For Windows 8, we have a template. Now, why we are storing a template is that now maybe in your infrastructure, you require 10 new machines of Server 2008 because we are going to install certain applications on top of it. Now, this is the requirement. And the management has requested you to create 10 new virtual machines with 2008 as an operating system running on it. Now, you can achieve the same task using manually. Now, in order to do that, you have to create 10 new virtual machines, configure it. Maybe you have to install the operating system on it, and maybe the management will ask you to keep it ready with the right updates and the patches. So all these things you have to do manually, and at least one virtual machine creation along with the installation of operating system as well as the right patches on it may involve or may consume 45 minutes to 1 hour. If that's the case, if you want to create 10 new virtual machines, then most probably you may end up spending 8 hours to 10 hours just creating virtual machines. So basically, it's a waste of time. So rather than doing that, I can create a template once and I'll store it, a standard template, which will have the configuration, it will have the operating system, and we already patched that virtual machine with the right patches and right updates and right upgrades, whatever it is. And I'll create a template and I'll store it as a master image copy. And whenever there is a requirement for me to deploy multiple virtual machines with the same operating system and same settings, I can use this template and deploy multiple copies of the virtual machine. Again, a template is a master image copy, so that means it will capture whatever is there on that particular virtual machine and store it as an image. So this image will contain the same settings again. It will have the same host name, the same IP, the same SID, and when you deploy a virtual machine using the same template, the new virtual machine will also have the same identities. So obviously, when you deploy a virtual machine out of a template, again, you can use guest customization wizard in order to give new identity to the virtual machine. You can give a new host name, new IP, and a new SID. So template is not a virtual machine, it's an image of a virtual machine. It's a master image copy of a virtual machine. Now let us see how to create that template. Right click on a virtual machine. You want to create a template. You have this option called template, and here you find two options. One is clone to template and the other one is convert to template. Okay. Now guys, these two options are available only if the virtual machine is in power off state. If your virtual machine is running, then you get only one particular option, which is clone to template. You don't get this option convert to template. Okay. Now what is the meaning of it here is that clone to template means first a clone machine is created of that virtual machine and the clone is getting converted into a template, into an image. But when you use the when you go with the option convert to template, the existing virtual machine will get converted into a template. So that means virtual machine will be converted into an image. So this option is grayed out. Okay, convert to template option is grayed out because this virtual machine is running. So running virtual machine cannot be converted into a template. Whereas I have the option of clone to template. Okay, just a moment, guys. Okay, so the running virtual machine, I only have the option of clone to template. Okay, now the difference here is that convert to template means the virtual machine itself will get converted into a template. Okay, clone to template means the virtual machine will be there, however a template is going to get created out of it. Fine. So let me talk about
Mujib, a question. If
yes.
you want to create a new template rather than using a virtual machine to create a template, is there you can do
No,
something about it?
you can't do that. You can't do that. A template is created out of a virtual machine. Why? Because it is a master image copy of a virtual machine. Without a base virtual
Okay.
machine, you cannot create a template on your own.
Okay, and as well, if you want to use a template, if a template is being used, can another, how do you say, can it be used at the same time by another person?
A template
Hello?
can be used by.
Can it be used simultaneously at two instances at one go, or it can only be used at one go?
No, you can use multiple times. Not a problem.
No, at one instance, at the same instance, can it be used by at two times? You know what I'm trying to say? If it's being used, can it be used at the same time by? Can it be used second time at the same? How do I say?
Okay, fine. I got your point. Fine. Okay, we'll discuss that. All right. Now here, guys, what happens when you convert a virtual machine into a template? Guys, anyone remembers what is the file associated with the template? I discussed this in the virtual machines files class. The file associated with the template will have an extension .vmtx. Okay, this is the file associated with template. And guys, when you perform the task like convert a virtual machine into template, virtual machine will have the configuration file .vmx. So when you convert a virtual machine to template, .vmx file will get converted into .vmtx. Okay? When you convert a virtual machine into a template, then .vmx file will get converted into .vmtx. So this is one file which is getting converted into .vmtx. Fine. Now what you said, I understood it. Okay, I'll show you that practically. Okay, we'll see that. You said that can I deploy a virtual machine out of a template? Okay, when one virtual machine is getting created at the same time. What you're saying is that can I deploy two virtual machines simultaneously? That is what you said, is right?
Exactly.
All right, fine. Just a moment, guys.
I think they lost the whole connection again.
Yeah, I think that's the issue.
I think you guys, I don't know, maybe timings are changing. But
I think it's gone.
so like yesterday, you lose the power connection as well. So
Even there is no power at my home. Usually, here also there is power cut. It's running on my battery. Just a moment, please. Guys, what is the local time there at your location?
30 p.m.
Pardon?
9:30 p.m.
9:30 p.m. Okay.
Yes.
What about others?
center.
I think for Usman and Satya is the same time.
Okay. Guys, if possible, can we prepone the sessions like somewhere around 3:30 because of this power issues? Because the coming sessions, the coming practicals, it would be a problem for us. If it is possible.
Prepone, you mean?
That means at
3:30
3:30 Indian Standard Time.
Too early for me.
Too early. Okay.
You mean half an hour early, is it?
Yeah, half an hour early. So we're starting at 4. We'll start at 3:30 so that we'll have at least 1.5 hours for the power break, and by that time we can end the session. 3:30 till 5.
Okay.
That would be okay.
All right.
If everyone agrees, from tomorrow we'll start at 3:30 itself.
There'll be
For
8
me,
o'clock
it's
here,
okay,
so it should be
Mujib.
alright. Yeah.
Okay, what about the other guys? Hari, is it okay for you?
So is how about 4 will be a problem? 4 will be
4 is what we are thinking, but by the time it's starting, it's almost 4:15 and all. Everyone logs in, and if everyone are ready. So we are getting only 45 minutes of time, and after that there is a power cut.
okay.
And so that's the
It
reason
should
why
be,
we
it should
start.
be alright, Majid.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, okay.
We start at 3:30. sharp 3:30, then we'll have 1.5 hour time, and we can see the practicals as well as theory without any issues.
Okay.
Fine, 3:30 is okay with all the guys. Hari, Prabhakar, Rupesh, Satya, Usman, and Vikas.
For me, okay, Mujib.
Okay.
Prabhakar.
Prabhakar, okay. Rupesh, okay. Hari, what about you?
Yeah, I'm okay too.
Okay, Hari is also okay. Satya and Usman.
It's fine, man, but
I'm
we
alright as
can
well.
exact time. Like I'm enrolling at I'm starting at 8:30, but no one is coming. Like 8:59. You guys said prepone to 8:30. Still, you guys are starting like 8:40, 8:50.
I sincerely request you to be on time, guys. We are normally on time here by 4, but we are waiting for some other guys to just log in. By the time everyone logs in, it's almost 4:15. So
My thing is, Mujib, you should start on time, and whoever joins late will join you anyways. You know what I'm saying? So the people who are coming late are late. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
So yeah,
So
just
guys, make sure that you log in early. We'll start on time, guys. Okay, we are losing time, and here in India, like power cuts, it is creating problems. Fine. So, all right. If everyone agrees, tomorrow we'll start at 3:30. Fine, sharp at 3:30, and we'll continue. Fine, guys.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who you going for, Mujib, in this election, but I think you should vote for Aam Aadmi Party. Maybe you'll have less power cuts then.
uh, uh, there is no
It's always the
candidate.
it's always
There,
the problem with power connection, power cut when Congress.
What Kejriwal can do, man? He can't win like not even 4, 5,
From where he can generate the power?
Modi, man, not
see,
good.
the
He's
issue is
opposing
that
investments. He's opposing investments. Then who will come and set up the power plant? Power generation stations.
uh, there is no candidate from Aam Aadmi Party in my constituency. Okay, so even if I wanted to, I can't vote for him. uh, this time, like I don't know what's going to happen. Like it's people are confused whom to vote.
Yes,
And I'm
really.
confused right now whom to vote.
Go for anyone except for Modi.
Situation is very worst at least in AP.
But
in AP, like it's like
everyone going to win, man, Usman, not other guys.
okay, fine. My machine is also taking a lot of time. For this is powered on. Fine.
Mujib, can you share some interview questions, please?
So, Mujib,
Just a moment. Just a moment.
can we change your time only on Saturdays, because on Friday nights we usually have changes that last for till 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So again, waking up at 5 would be a little bit tough. Only on Saturdays.
You mean to say only on Saturday? We'll
Be
start
like
late. You mean to
4:30.
say?
Yes, start late only on Saturdays. Remaining days will be fine for me, because on Fridays we have maintenance window and we
Yeah.
do changes.
Okay. Fine. 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 Okay. Fine, guys.
Mujib,
Yep, yes. Yes.
can you share interview questions? Yeah.
Could you repeat?
Can you share interview questions if you have?
Sure, sure. Guys, normally uh,
Yeah, share
70,
with screen what I will take with them.
fine. Normally 70 to 90% of the questions what the interviewers may ask you would be from the training what you're taking right now, the material which has been shared to you guys, as well as whatever the points I'm discussing right now. I've seen 70 to 90%. Okay. Uh, They'll ask you questions on what is it, clone, template, vMotion, clustering, okay, so on and so forth. So, however, I'll
I haven't
share you
discussed
some.
clustering yet.
No, we haven't discussed clustering yet. It's a very important topic, and it will take at least 2 days for me to discuss clustering. So after this, the next topic is clustering. Okay.
And what do you suggest if we want to write certification?
Certification. Okay.
I mean, that's a typical question, I know. But
Guys, as you are outside of India, certification has a value there, I think, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So
It has a lot of value.
So yes, absolutely. If that's the case, then I suggest you to get certified.
Do you know where we can get like certified training for less price? Any idea? I mean, after this one.
Yeah, I understand.
And that is just for writing the exam, right?
Well, I'm not aware whether you being in America, can you take up training from India and get certified from India? I'm not
Yes.
aware of it.
Yes, that's
You can
right.
do that?
We can do that. Yeah. That's why
Okay, then
I'm trying to know for the some training place where I can get finishes for lesser price, cheaper price.
Okay. Okay, if that's the case, then I'll get back to you regarding that, guys. Not to worry.
Sure.
Fine.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, fine. Meanwhile, this machine comes up. Let us discuss migrations. Meanwhile, I'll show you the creation of template. Okay, in a moment while my ESXi is up and running. Fine. Let us discuss the migrations, guys. Okay, in VApp, I require that physical infrastructure to show you VApp now. Okay, I'll discuss VApp most probably tomorrow, but we'll discuss meanwhile the migrations. Okay, let me discuss the theory at least of migrations, guys. Guys, there are totally five types of migrations. All right, and these five types of migrations are, the first one is cold migration. Vikas will discuss this at the end of the session. Not to worry. Okay, I've made a note of your question. Fine, I'll discuss it. Not to issue, not an issue. Right. Now here, five types of migrations. We are migrating virtual machines either from one host to another host or from one data store to another data store. In vSphere infrastructure, normally five types. The first one is cold migration. Second one is suspended migration. The third one is vMotion. The fourth one is storage vMotion. And the fifth one is enhanced vMotion. Now, cold migration, guys. In cold migration, your virtual machine is in power off state, and in cold migration, you can perform three tasks. The first one, you can migrate a virtual machine from one host to another host. This is the first task which you can perform. The second task, what you can do in cold migration is that you can migrate the virtual machine from one data store to another data store. What is the meaning of it is that from the perspective of ESXi, virtual machine is nothing but set of files stored in a folder, and folder is stored on data store. And in cold migration, the second option is that I'm migrating that folder of the virtual machine from one data store to another data store. Okay, this is the second thing what I can do. And the third option which is available, or the third task what I can do in cold migration is that I can migrate the host of the virtual machine. That means I can migrate the virtual machine from one host to another host, as well as migrate the virtual machine from one data store to another data store simultaneously. So I can perform either one of these tasks. Either I can migrate the virtual machine from one host to another host, either I can migrate the virtual machine from one data store to another data store, or I can do both these tasks simultaneously. So this is cold migration. In cold migration, the virtual machine is not running. It is in power off state. The second one is suspended migration. Suspended migration is nothing but you can place your virtual machine in suspended state. That means in a pause state. So, and when you migrate that virtual machine, which is in pause state, we call it as suspended migration. Okay. Normally, we don't do it, but however, you can perform a virtual machine which is in you can perform migrations of a virtual machine which is in suspended state as well. Then the third one is very important, which is called as vMotion. And here in vMotion, guys, the virtual machine is in running state. That means the virtual machine is running, and you are migrating it from one host to another host. So while it is running, you are migrating it from one host to another host. And here, there is no data loss, there is no network loss. Seamlessly, you are migrating it. However, in vMotion, one of the prerequisites, there are many prerequisites. I'll discuss all those prerequisites. But one of the prerequisites important is that your virtual machine should be on shared storage. So that means your virtual machine should be stored on a shared storage. Then only vMotion is possible. Then comes storage vMotion. Storage vMotion, here the virtual machine is running. And in this case, I'm not migrating the virtual machine from one host to another host, but I'm migrating the virtual machine's data. That means the folder associated with virtual machine from one data store to another data store while the virtual machine is running. And that too, here there is no downtime for your applications, no downtime for your virtual machine. Seamlessly, I'm migrating the virtual machine from one data store to another data store. This is storage vMotion. Then comes the fifth one, which is the most advanced, technology. Here, this is enhanced vMotion. If I separate enhanced here, what is there? vMotion. That means I'm migrating virtual machine from one host to another host. However, for vMotion, what is the prerequisite? I told you that your virtual machine should be on shared storage. But in enhanced vMotion, without your virtual machine on a shared storage, that means your virtual machine may be on your local hard disk, but you can still migrate it from one host to another host. So in enhanced vMotion, virtual machine on the local data store, and it is running, and I'm migrating it from one host to another host. Technically speaking, in enhanced vMotion, vMotion and storage vMotion is occurring simultaneously. So that means virtual machine is running, you're migrating it from one host to another host, and that too, the virtual machine is not on the shared storage, but it is on the local storage. So without a shared storage, also you can perform enhanced vMotion. This is a new technology, and this is possible only through web client. I cannot perform this task using vSphere client. I have to log into my vCenter server using web client. Then only I can perform this particular task called enhanced vMotion. So these are totally 5 types of migrations. Okay, and there are certain maximums as well. Let us try to understand certain maximums per data store as well as per host. Now, the maximum number of operations which are possible per VMFS 5 data store, like simultaneous operations, like which include vMotion, storage vMotion, cloning, these kind of stuff. So if you're simultaneously doing simultaneous tasks, so all this put together, I can perform 8 such simultaneous operations per data store. Guys, any questions on this slide? Any questions?
I have a one question.
Yeah.
What is mean by orphaned state? If the VM is in orphaned state, what is mean by that?
Okay. Orphan. Okay. Though it is not related to this, but you have raised a question. Fine. Orphan. I'll generally ask you who is an orphan, basically. It's a general question. Who is an orphan, guys?
Without family. So,
Yeah, without a family. That means no parents, no one to take care of. Fine. Now here, virtual machine will also become orphan. Now, who would be the parent to virtual machine, basically? ESXi, right?
Yes.
Yes. So this virtual machine doesn't have any parent. That means it is not on any of the ESXi hosts in your infrastructure. That means it is not registered with any of the ESXi hosts. So then it becomes an orphan virtual machine. Fine. So need not worry. I'll cover this orphan virtual machines in my troubleshooting class. I'll explain in detail when the virtual machine will get orphaned and how to overcome that particular problem. You need not worry. Okay? Fine?
Yeah.
I'm going to cover that in troubleshooting, not to worry. Fine?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, any other questions? Apart from the other questions, any questions on this slide? Did you understand the difference between cold,
can you
suspended
explain once
vMotion,
storage vMotion?
storage vMotion? Yes.
Storage
Now,
vMotion.
storage vMotion, let me use the paint here so that you understand it. Okay? This is my host. Let us say this is my SAN. On my SAN, let us say I have 2 LUNs, and this has been formatted with VMFS, and the first LUN I call it as VMFS data store 1. I call the second one as VMFS data store 2. Let us say 2, and this is my ESXi, and let us say I have my virtual machine number 1. So this is my VM1. Okay. Now my VM1 is on ESXi1, let us say, but what is VM1 from the perspective of ESXi? It is nothing but set of files stored in a folder. And let us say that folder is on VMFS1. Now storage vMotion means I'm migrating the running virtual machine's data from one data store to another data store. That means this entire folder VM1 will get migrated from one data store, VMFS1 data store to VMFS2 data store while the virtual machine is in running state. So what will happen slowly, this VM1 folder will get migrated to VMFS2 and this folder will no more exist on the VMFS1. This is storage vMotion. You got the idea?
Thank you.
Yeah. So basically I'm migrating the virtual machine's data. That means that entire folder from one data store to another data store while the virtual machine is running. It is not power off. It is running, guys. In the running state, I'm migrating it from one data store to another data store. And now here, try to understand this. This data store may be on the same sandbox, or these data stores may be on two different sandboxes. That is also possible. You get my point? This is first SAN, this is second SAN. And let us say that my first VMFS is coming from my first SAN and VMFS2 is from my second SAN. I can migrate that from one SAN to another SAN as well. Okay? Yeah? Got the point?
Thank you, Mujib.
Yes, yes.
I got it.
Any other question apart from that?
Yeah, Mujib. You
Okay.
said that VMX file, when you clone it, when you template it, VMX file converts to VMTX, right?
When you convert a virtual machine to template, then
It converts to VMTX.
yes.
Yeah, if I upgraded the one more time, like if I added some more patches and some more application are added, then what happens? Like if I want to take template, then what it will be next?
See, try to understand this. Convert to template is different. Clone to template is different. If I
I'm thinking like you already template. You have already taken a template. It converted from VMX to VMTX. Is it? The file is converted to VMTX.
see here, entire virtual machine got converted now. I don't have that virtual machine anymore.
Okay. Okay, then if I want to template that virtual, if I want to upgrade some applications or some patches, and then I want to take one more template, then what is?
Yeah, you have to create another template then. You have to create another template.
Then we don't have VMX file, right? We have VMTX, right? In this.
No, try to understand this. Okay, let me get connected to my vCenter server. Okay. I'm connected now. Let me add it here.
Actually, suppose if you want to deploy that template into our environment, again that VMTX is converted into VMX?
Yes, that is what happens.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now here, there are two options in a template, guys. Clone to template and convert to template. When I say clone to template, the original virtual machine would be running as a virtual machine. First, a clone would be created out of that virtual machine. That clone would be converted into a template. So original virtual machine is still existing in your infrastructure. This is the first option. And the second option, when I choose it convert to template, then that virtual machine itself is getting converted into a template, and that virtual machine will no more exist as a virtual machine. Why? Because the virtual machine itself got converted into a template. Okay? Do you understand the difference here?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's the difference. Clone to template, virtual machine is running. You are cloning that virtual machine. Using that clone, you are converting that into a template. Okay? But when you convert a virtual machine into a template, then the entire virtual machine is getting converted into a template.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mujib, I was disconnected for past 10 minutes, so I'm not sure what's going on at the moment.
So, we discussed this? Were you on? Did you listen to these migrations? What are these migrations about?
No, I haven't listened to this.
Okay, fine. Not an issue. I'll explain it again. License has expired. Okay, fine, guys. I think we have to continue tomorrow itself. Let me explain this theory part and we'll see the practicals tomorrow. Fine. Okay, fine, guys. Now I'm explaining again. We'll try to understand the migrations. Fine. There are total 5 types of migrations. That means migrating a running virtual machine from one host to another host, or migrating the virtual machine's data from one data store to another data store. So there are total 5 types of migration. The first one is called as cold migration. In cold migration, the virtual machine is in